Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, Erica Barker. On tonight's show, editor of the Grimsby Telegraph, Michelle Lawler, joins me on the sofa to review the papers. But first, here's James Dunn with the news headlines.
Hello. In the headlines today, ABP launch objections to the government's backing for Able UK's marine energy park, and how a tragic story inspires a student to raise money for a local road safety charity. ABP has filed 2 petitions with Parliament after the government gave Able UK's marine energy park at North Killingholme the green light. The £450 million project could create 4,000 direct jobs in the area, but ABP say it would hinder their own plans to construct the Immingham deep water jetty in the same area. ABP released a statement saying that their first petition reflects their hope the projects can coexist alongside each other, bringing maximum benefit to the region. But the second fallback petition opposes the Secretary of State's decision giving Able the go-ahead if the 2 companies can't reach an agreement, which as yet they have not been able to do. MPs have backed plans for a new faster rail service going from Cleethorpes to London in just 2 hours and 40 minutes. Great North Eastern Railway have put forward plans to the Office of Rail Regulation for a service running through Grimsby and Heyborough before going straight from Doncaster to King's Cross from December 2017. If approved, it would shave an hour off the journey to London.
At this stage, I hope that the consultation and the process will go smoothly and that we can quickly move to give them the okay, because then, as I understand it, they're going to be building new locos and rolling stock to actually provide the service, which obviously takes a couple of years. But with all the industry and commerce moving into the area, we potentially have a boom town in a few years' time, and we need a direct service to the capital.
Obviously we're making progress here, but are we any closer to this happening?
Oh, absolutely, yes. They're a go-ahead company. They also provide the Grand Central trains that run along the East Coast Main Line, and they provide a good service there. I've used it on a number of occasions. They're, I say, a good company.
We've got a survey from the Chamber of Commerce to prove that business will use it. I think the demand will be terrific because it's a big boost to development and to encourage companies to come here, because their executives can have quick access to London and easy travel. It's going to be a boon for MPs too, I may say. The slog of driving up and down the A1 is getting quite exhausting. But there's many a slip between cup and lip. We haven't got it yet, and it's got to be approved. The Minister told us he wants demonstration of local demand before he'll accept a direct access operator. But I think we can provide that, and I think we'll get it. So I'm enormously cheered. I think it's terrific.
Members of a cartel supplying drugs to the Hull area have been jailed for a total of 51 years. Police estimate the gang could bring up to £900,000 in just 6 months through drug dealing, distribution and money laundering. They lived a lavish lifestyle with holidays and designer goods until they were eventually convicted and sentenced last week. Gang leader Edward Bodego, 35, was sentenced to 18 years, and his lieutenant, Adrian Owen, 31, was jailed for 12.5 years. 3 other gang members were also sentenced for their role in the operation, and Bodego's wife, Lisa, 23, was jailed for a year. She was not directly involved with the drugs but enjoyed the lifestyle and didn't ask questions. Police said turning a blind eye makes you equally responsible. Secondary schools in East Riding are to get guidance on self-harm, which is most common in young people. A partnership has been formed to help schools recognise the signs of self-harm, which can include cutting, hitting, taking drugs and eating disorders. East Riding Council say it can happen at any age, but it's most common in teenagers, which is why new guidelines have been issued to help schools recognise the signs and offer support. Bron Sanders of East Riding's Safeguarding Children's Board said creating a supportive environment and building self-esteem is the key to addressing the underlying longer-term problems that lead to self-harm. A road safety awareness workshop held at John Leggett College has spurred one student to fundraise for the charity behind it. The Tom Foundation was set up by the family of Driffield teenager Tom Atkinson, who was killed in Germany in 2005 while he was a passenger in a car. The foundation aims to educate young drivers about the consequences of reckless driving and involves partner agencies from across the region. Melanie Turner was so moved by the foundation work that she now plans a series of events to raise money for them, including a tree planting. That's all from me. I'll see you again for the next bulletin.
Thanks, James. Michelle Lawler is the editor of the Grimsby Telegraph and joins me today to discuss the big stories affecting East Yorkshire and Northern Lincolnshire. Michelle, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you?
Good, I'm not bad, thank you.
Good.
So what stories have caught your eye this week?
Right, I think we have to start with the story that was today, which is Friday, about the direct train service between Grimsby, Cleethorpes and London, which I think is something that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. There was one, then there wasn't. There's been plans going on and off over the years about whether this can happen or not, and eventually it looks like it may happen from, I think it's 2017, which is still quite a while to wait, but at least there's hope there that we can get that.
I mean, this could make a big difference, couldn't it, when
Yes.
it comes to journey times and business people and people that need to get to the city?
I think what it is with Grimsby and Cleethorpes, it's the fact that it feels at the end of the line, it feels a little bit cut off. I know we had a comment on our website today, actually, after running the story, saying, well, 2 hours, 40 minutes to get from Grimsby to London. You can do that anyway by driving to Newark and getting on the train, which yes, you can, because that's what I do and that's what most people do. But it's just actually thought that we have that direct link, that you can get on the train, you can sit down and you can be at King's Cross, which I think will be a real bonus for the area.
And can Grimsby sometimes feel like it's forgotten, really? Actually,
the feeling that it is, that the links, the infrastructure isn't there. A lot of the MPs have called for, I know Martin Vickers, the Cleethorpes MP, there has been a long running campaigner for this train service. It's actually the infrastructure needs to be in place to make sure that we can get where we need to be.
Okay, what else do we have?
Right, let's move on. We can't leave this without talking about Skintan Grimsby, can we really?
Definitely.
This campaign, is it or isn't it coming? We still don't know, because the Channel 4 executives obviously play their cards very close to their chest, and they've said we're only doing test filming in certain areas. But I know we got calls into the office as early as probably last September, October, saying that these cameras were here. And we were kind of chasing them around at one point. I think it was the same time that Ali G and Sacha Baron Cohen was coming about the Grimsby film, so we were chasing one and then the other. And we kept hearing people saying, you know, we're not talking to them, or we are talking to them, or whatever, and they've never actually said they're definitely coming. And this is a campaign really by people who say we don't want them here. Personally, I think if they did come, locally we would turn it on its head, and locally we would stand up, because I think Grimsby people are incredibly resilient. They really are. What they do is they club together when the going gets tough and they say that, you know, we're okay. But I think what the problem is, it would show to the nation a bad side, possibly a bad negative side of Grimsby, which we don't want to have portrayed, because there are two sides. There's some lovely areas around here, we all know that. Perception is there isn't amongst those outside, and I think that is the problem. And that's why we'd kind of like to say no to it this time. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Although the things like Benefit Street and that, you know, they've brought these issues to the fore, these important issues really, I think. But I think for us it's a no.
And on the other side, with the first series was filmed in Skintan, wasn't it?
Was.
And some regeneration and
Yeah,
investment that's
absolutely.
happened since. And some people are saying that it could maybe be good for Grimsby because more investment could be made. Well, what do you think about that?
I think, you know, it could happen like that. That could happen, but that is an internal thing. Internally in Scunthorpe, for instance, I know parts of Westcliff, the regeneration has been brought forward because of Skint, and that could happen internally. But I think for Grimsby at the moment, with the regeneration, with the renewable stuff, with companies looking at the area a little bit more, they won't see that. They will just see the negative stuff that is portrayed, and I think that's the problem. It's for people outside rather than inside that we need to be thinking about with things like this. I really do. So hopefully we will see, but if it comes, we'll survive it.
Okay.
We always do. Moving on, we'll go over to Cross the Water to Hull, our sister paper over in Hull. I think a lot of people from this area might have been to the Hull Royal Infirmary at some point though, because I know we used to get transferred, and people certainly go to Castle Hill, which is a different hospital. But crumbling Hull Royal Infirmary to ACT 60 beds is their headline. And I think it just brings the whole hospital, NHS, public funding thing up again, doesn't it? These buildings are ageing. People require a health service, they expect it. We still have a free NHS, which is still envied by a lot of people in the world, but it needs major investment. Yeah,
I know they are investing in a new children's ward, I think, or some kind of department. But I mean, I suppose it's the case that if they're having to do this, then the financial situation can't be brilliant, can it really?
No, and I guess if you're investing in buildings, you're diverting funds away from equipment to save people's lives, aren't you?
Yeah.
And there's only so much money to go around, and I think the thing is people are living longer now, treatments are there, masses of advances in treatments, which is great, but I guess it all comes at a cost. Move on, we're going around the region, we're going to Scunthorpe now. Visiting around all over, we've got Louth later as well. Moving on to Scunthorpe, this is the bedroom tax really, which Scunthorpe have picked up on this week. The Scunthorpe Telegraph blamed for £1 million in rent arrears, and I know this has certainly been an issue in Grimsby with shoreline housing particularly, the social housing landlords here, in that the bedroom tax is just taking people out of the public sector and into the private sector as far as rents are concerned, which is an issue. You know, there are not enough one-bed accommodation to go around in the social public sector, so people are choosing private landlords, and therefore what will happen to social housing in the long-time future.
And are people coming to your paper and telling you that they're struggling really?
Yes, they are. I mean, we've had, not the last couple of weeks has been quiet, but we've had a regular correspondence from people who are saying we are moving out. You know, we cannot afford to live in this house that we've been in for a long time because it has 2 bedrooms, we only need the one. We're getting the cost of the bedroom tax. So, you know, this is something which I think will have to end, and they'll have to find a solution to it.
I mean, this is going to be something that's probably going to be ongoing when it comes to, you know, reporting on it, because it seems to be, you know, something that's really having an impact on people's lives, doesn't it?
It is, and it's changing, you know, how people are housed and how people choose to rent their houses over a period of time. People will look to the private sector more. Is that the right thing to do? You hear of rogue landlords. I know there are a lot of good landlords out there, but is it another reason for people to be exploited slightly? We don't know, so it is a difficult one.
Okay.
It is. What have we got? We've got Louth now. Here we go. The houses. And this one caught my attention from the Louth Leader, actually, which is the weekly paper over in Louth. The 240 homes planned for Louth. I know Louth has been under pressure for new housing development for some time. There is another plan, actually, the other side of Louth, and I can't really remember where that's at. But this is for another point of Louth there on the other side for 240 homes, which is a lot of new houses in a relatively small market town. You know, and this is a problem in market towns across the area, isn't it? People are wanting to develop, they see the potential, people want to live in these areas, but you know, the reason why people moved in the first place is then gone because they become bigger and bigger.
I mean, what is the answer to that?
Who knows? Who knows? You know, I mean, long-term development plans from the council, they do have them where they earmark areas for development long-term. I'm not sure whether this plan is in there, but it puts pressure on shops, it puts pressure on infrastructure, doesn't it? It puts pressure on the character of the town.
And I suppose it's the question about the land as well, that the land's been, you know, used up in this way when really it's, you know, it's beautiful views, isn't it? And it's about the environment.
Absolutely, and it's countryside, isn't it? And then you bring the flooding thing into it. Some people will say the more concrete there is, the less places there is for the water to go because it can't drain into the soil. So there's all that as well. And I know Louth is one of those towns that has been earmarked for a number of developments, and it will be interesting to see how that progresses as we go on.
And is it increasing the number of people that want to live there?
I think it is. You know, you're talking commuter distance, aren't you, to Grimsby and Lincoln as well, and further afield now, and it's a nice town and people want to be there.
That's fantastic. Michelle, do we have anything else?
Do we have another one? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
The Grimsby Telegraph, again, my paper earlier this week, and I think it's been picked up on by a few media people, actually, the shocking rise in eating disorders in the area, you know, and what causes it and why people suffer it, and actually are we under pressure actually to lose weight and look a certain way. And our young girls particularly, it's been an age-old thing though, hasn't it? I guess from Marilyn Monroe in the 60s or whatever. I guess it's not something that is new. It's just that people do think they have to look and be a certain way.
And there are places, you know, that there's Worrying Fields, isn't there? And I'm sure there's a couple of others as well where people can go and get support and get help really. And I suppose it's fundamental, isn't it, that these places are able to keep on going to help these people.
I think it needs to be, and young people need to know they're there before it gets to be a problem. And you know, and their parents or carers, whoever they are, need to spot it if they possibly can and try and help them. Because you know, it is not just about an eating disorder, it must be a mental health problem as well, I guess, in that people need to understand that they don't have to be like that.
That's fantastic, Michelle. I'll have to stop there.
Good.
But thank you for your time.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. If you have any stories that you would like to share with us, you can get in touch by phone on Grimsby 315561, write on our Facebook page or tweet us at Estuary TV or email us at news@estuary.tv. That's all from us today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.